by alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon by taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Friend from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
Take some deep breaths. This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Detroit-bound 2019 NPSL North Conference champions, Minneapolis City. I am your host, Nate Morales, joined as always by my partner in crime, John Bisworm. John, has your blood pressure returned to normal? It seems like we've been on the razor's edge for like 3 weeks straight.
It was an intense game for me last night, Nate. There was a ton of chances that were wasted by both teams and some goals, some fireworks, and it was totally just what you would get out of a playoff match. So I think that I really won't be settled down until I'm driving in a van to Detroit, and then I'll have another wave of different type of emotions that are going to hit me. Yeah,
it's like just when you want to kind of relax a little bit and try to zone out, that's when you especially are gonna start to be anxious about the game and about the prep and all that stuff.
Yeah, the scenarios, the lineup, like the scouting report, all that stuff. So, I mean, my blood pressure is it's in a good resting state normally, so it's probably a little bit elevated right now.
Well, we've got an awesome show tonight. There's been some downs and some ups for Minneapolis City in the last week. We've got 2 matches against Med City to cover tonight. One, of course, that closed out the regular season and our playoff victory from this week. And if you haven't heard, we're heading to Detroit to the NPSL Midwest Regional Playoffs. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And hopefully we're going to be able to talk to friend of the pod, Michigan-based soccer guru Fletcher Sharpe. There's a lot of news surrounding this upcoming weekend, so hopefully he can help us prep for it if we can get him on.
And, sometimes soccer's a gift. So
soccer is usually a gift.
Yeah, usually a gift. So let's hope it's giving season.
As we mentioned last week, the season finale match against Med City was about as low pressure as you could get when you consider it was against a top 2 team clawing over Duluth to stay in the playoffs. Like, that in itself should be like, wow, this is a big game. But for us, we only needed a positive result to put ourselves in a really nice position to be able to host these regional playoffs. We'd already clinched our conference, so, we just needed a draw.
So before we dive into the lineups, I just want to make one comment that I've seen flying around and has been directed towards me. If you think that there was match fixing involved because we didn't want Duluth to make the playoffs, you're a goddamn idiot. So, just get over yourself, please. That's not even a thought that crossed anyone's mind, nor would it ever be. So you're a dum-dum. Anyways, starting lineup for Minneapolis City on the day last Friday was Troy Luegi in net, getting his one of his few starts for the season this year. Aaron Olsen, Miles Norville, Jonah Garcia, and Zuhair Alabasi rounding out the back line with a new familiar midfield of Chuck, Max, and Eli, and then our front 3 of Will, Kidd, Whitney Brown, and Nick Hutton. And then on the bench, we had Aiden O'Driscoll, Ben Wexler, Chuck, Kevin Andrews, Mike Riley, and Timmy.
Yeah. So the first half, man, I have to tell you, this felt like throwback old school Minneapolis City, where we turned the difficulty up on ourselves right away from the get-go. Like, a very aggressive press right out of the gates from Med City seemed to, I guess, catch our defenders off guard, it felt like. And midfielder Marcos Fernandez was able to blast a shot through our back line and past Troy Luegi at the 4-minute mark. And I'm going to say it's the product of some lethargic passing, overall a soft goal, but really nothing we haven't been able to overcome in the past, right?
So they played like they needed to win and were up for the challenge, and it looked as if we were more or less playing not to lose. So the problem with that I see is when you don't have a plan of attack right out of the gate like that. I mean, obviously we had a plan, but to not be on the front foot and kind of weather a storm, you can make an error, you can get complacent. And in this case, we were on our heels and we made an error and the goal was scored. I mean, it was an instance, I think, where AO left his mark kind of late. And, he didn't close down the weak side of the kind of congested traffic that was on the top of the box. And the shot was actually, I talked to Troy, he said he never even saw it come through. And he thought it maybe had taken a deflection, but it snuck through. And, after that, I thought, okay, so let's get back at what we can do. But it was almost and likely kind of too late already, even though it was the 4th minute.
I mean, perhaps. I mean, I would say maybe still stung by our late game equalizer from early in the season. Maybe just a new concerning part of their culture. But Med City kind of came out fouling. Like, there was not much of a rhythm to this game. Like you said, it was already maybe too late by giving up that early goal. That clawing from behind with a game like this, with emotions like this, was very difficult. I think you saw 2 yellows in the first half from Med City, 5 overall in the game, and that was only the beginning. There was this bit of strangeness in the 25th minute when a ball went out of bounds towards the Med City bench, and a Med City player on the bench picked it up, and as I think Will Kidd or whoever our player was came over to collect for the throw-in, he tossed that ball like further down the line away onto the pitch. And so the ref, obviously that's ridiculous and stupid, and the ref comes over to have a word and maybe to discipline the player for time wasting or something. And there are some words exchanged between the ref and the player, between the ref and the coach. Who knows what was said? But the whole bizarre event ended in NPSL North Coach of the Year, Cassidy, getting a straight red card ejection. So I guess the broader question here, John, is what changed in the Med City attitude this week?
So look, I get the emotions of a match. I've been there before, and admittedly, I've done some real stupid shit in my day. So I won't make any excuses. But when you're on a bench and you conduct yourself like that, it's no surprise that you're going to get punished for it. And the thing that really stunk is that the coaching staff then got involved in the wrong manner. It is their job to keep the players under control. And when you can't do that yourself, in Cassidy's case, it's no wonder why the players acted like they did. The word that I got was that the ref had told Cassidy just to stop talking and just like leave it alone because he didn't want to have to send him off, and just relax multiple occasions during the interaction. And after they thought that things had kind of cooled down, he tried to get the last word in, and then that was it. So off of the showers he went. In this case, off to the parking lot because there wasn't anywhere for him to go for like a long ass time. So plus he didn't get to celebrate a rightful win with his players, which is unfortunate. So just kind of a dumb situation altogether, I think.
Yeah. Throughout the rest of the first half, City was able to work the ball, led to a number of near misses from Zahir, from Will, and others, but we weren't really able to find that equalizer. Well, we weren't. We weren't. Would you have preferred to see something differently from the team to maybe grab that goal back and adjust momentum?
I think the only thing that would have been different was there were too many simple mistakes. You'd mentioned it earlier, like the errant 5-yard, 10-yard simple passes were just being wasted in really bad spots, which I think could have been a result of the pressure that Med City had applied early on. But then you go back to the finishing. Again, it's kind of been our bugaboo all year. Against good teams in a playoff type atmosphere or match, you have to convert that or you just go home.
Yeah, I mean, we get into the second half, we're trying to stay in the game, get that equalizer, but like you said, too many simple mistakes even into the second half, and then you get into the gamesmanship, and the crowd got frustrated. You could tell the City players were getting frustrated. What were your thoughts on kind of how the second half played out in general? Very much a struggle for Minneapolis City.
Well, I think the remainder of the game, after like the slew of subs came on, and then there was, in quotation marks, a lot of cramping and the time wasting that you mentioned. It's really hard for a team that like we were starting to gather momentum, and then every time there would be a killer, it would be like a 2-minute, 3-minute, stoppage that really then resulted in the only thing you can do, which is push everyone forward and start lumping balls in, which is exactly what you saw happen. But for me, it was, I mentioned it, like, even after that first goal, I thought there was nothing that was going to be able to be done. I thought, like, this is actually probably over. And it was just too little too late. The subs then had to come on, and they weren't really able to get into that rhythm because they kind of came on maybe a little bit later than we could have put them in. That's just hypothetically thinking. And then it was just panic time. And as a result, you just saw the helter-skelter kind of last 15 minutes of just lumping things forward whenever we could, balls going out of bounds. Like, it is a huge mess, to be honest.
Well, John, it didn't work out that way for us, but what were your you said your keys to victory were the first 15. Yeah,
that wasn't great. We got run over by waves of attack that saw Med City kind of tossing forward 3 to 5 players in the attack at times. And I thought, okay, we're doing a decent job weathering the storm outside of the goal, but we were not really able to then take advantage of what we saw when we did get the ball and then translate the weathering of the storm to producing on offense. So it's kind of just got stuck.
Yeah. Your second key was to get points.
We did not do that, so we can go to the next one.
And finally, be smart.
So by that, what I mean was, like, the play was basically a tad sloppy. We've talked about the passing multiple times, but I felt that the subs came on and they were the right subs. The idea to switch formations and then the strategy was correct. And it was just a tad late again when Med City was in a firm parking lot at that point, and we really could not get anything going after that. So I think we definitely accomplished that, but it was the letdown in the first 15 that was the first point here for a reason. And then being smart with the game itself just was confounded on top of that.
Well, the chips did not fall our way, but we had a chance at revenge almost immediately on Tuesday night in the opening round of the NPSL Midwest playoffs. Lucky us, revenge is something we've been pretty good at getting this year.
Yeah, it has. So seeing how the seeds went, because we did not get that point against Med City, we needed on Friday, we were still able to host a playoff game for the first time in club history. So that's awesome. And it was on Tuesday night, whenever you're listening to this, and luck would have it that we would see the same team again. Outside of the madness that was us trying to, like, find a location to play at, because the Nelly was booked already, and we had essentially one day of training to fix what went wrong on Friday in order to move us into the Final Four in the region. We did make some changes in the system to counter what we thought Med City could play or how they could come at us. And we watched a myriad of games to see, like, are there any tendencies when they get down? Are there other tendencies where they start out differently, formation-wise, all that stuff. So we went back and watched quite a few matches in essentially, again, one day. And I think it'll basically translate to what you hear next and what our personnel was. So starting out was Elder in goal, the same back line, except for we had AO who slotted into the center of the field because Miles Norville picked up an re-aggravated an injury. So it was AO and Jonah in the middle, Zuhir on the right side, Ba on the left side, Hoof, Max, and Eli in the middle, and then Will, Hutton, and Justin Oliver up top. So when I mentioned the personnel wise, so if you go back to what we saw when Med City visited us and when we visited them last year, the call was to put Aaron Olson in the middle of the field to counter with speed on any balls that would be tracked into the channel that were basically sent to Francisco Neto. Right. And seeing that is exactly how they've kind of organically gone to as far as their go-to throughout a game, it was our way to shake the dust off of an old strategy and implement it. And then you look at your bench, and your bench is extremely strong. You have Aiden O'Driscoll, Ben Wexler, Charlie Adams, Kevin Andrews, Mike Riley, and then Tim Wills making his return back from a long vacation. So you had long.
He looked like a shipwreck victim.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he grew a really nice beard. So you look at our bench then, and you have strength everywhere, and you have coverage everywhere. So I think that the game plan itself and the strategy going into this was we literally have to forget what happened on Friday because we cannot change that. So let's focus completely in one 90-minute training session on how to win this game.
Well, of course, that can all change. That can all go out the window as soon as you hit the field. The field conditions were really strange. It was incredibly slippery out there, thanks to the storms that have rolled through town lately. And that led to a real stop-and-start first half. Lots of falls, lots of fouls. Some would say Bryce was calling soft fouls, but I think it was just a good way to establish
that fucking guy.
It was a good way to establish that like he wasn't going to let things get too far, especially in those kind of conditions. Otherwise, it could get real dangerous.
Well, I would disagree with you a little bit about what we saw out of the center ref, and I thought that in the first 5-10 minutes was letting the players play, and then quickly just like night and day shifted into calling everything. So that's when everyone gets up in arms. They get confused. How do I play? This guy's going to call everything. Yeah. He wasn't calling stuff. Now I don't know what to do when I come into a tackle, whatever. So there were, and then the benches both got into it because the coaches are like, what are we doing? We just had a different style of game going on, and now it's changed. So, but I thought that the plan for City coming out of the gate strong was definitely executed. And I thought it led to a few early half chances, nothing really of substance. But I also felt that it was a bit surprising that Med City went back to what they had done from a system setup and a game plan perspective previously, instead of how they beat us. So in my mind, it would be maybe slightly install something that looks a little bit different, but gets you the same outcome as what they threw at us on Friday. But they went back to how they played in earlier on in the season, when I thought they were a little bit less effective. So that could have been a case of the coach being in the stands, or it could have been that the players just fell into their comfort zone organically. I'm not sure what they were thinking, but it was clear that a more direct game of collective team attack and team defense with a higher line of pressure that could spring speed into the channels was working for City as planned, but there was nothing really to show of it. Mm-hmm. And it was also clear to me that City had totally equalized Neto for the second game in a row. And I think that was by and large part due to the play of Aaron Olsen, pretty much being matched up with him one-on-one without having to call it a man mark, because Neto was by himself. How many times you'd run out of fingers and toes if you're trying to count how many times balls were played into him with zero support, and Aaron won those battles. It was also clear to me that Fernandez, the goal scorer from a few days ago, was where they were going to get all of their activity through. I thought he played a fantastic first part of the first half, getting in and out of traffic, and he was clearly the best player on the field for both sides in the first half, I thought. And then you compound the fact that goalkeeper Nate Jarvis just started to stand on his head, keeping them in the conversation going into intermission.
Yeah, he made a lot of nice saves. It's interesting to point out, too, that not only did we equalize Neto, but he came off as a much earlier sub than he did on Friday. I think he replaced him with Ayo Adebayo, or whatever that guy's name was, pretty early in the second half.
Well, I actually talked to him. I ran into him after the game and just kind of chatted him up a little bit. And I asked him, did you pick up an injury? And he, in his Brazilian accent, I don't know what happened. I don't know why I come off.
Oh.
So he had no clue why he was substituted. And he got substituted against us at Edor Nelson at home on Friday night as well. And I was a little bit interested in that being that he's your best player, and he did not look like he was injured at all. So that was weird.
Yeah. Well, the action really, John, came in the second half of the game when that Minneapolis, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, new formation, new approach really started to click. We were, I think, super flexible, able to defend quickly and with agility. And in the case of the first goal that we scored, we were able to counter, draw defenders, and use the whole field for the attack. Ba pushed forward well down his left wing, something he did most of the first half very effectively without any result, but here we found one. He dribbled at least 3 med-seated defenders. He drew 2 more, so a total of 5 men were going his way when he dumped the ball back centrally to Oliver, who continued... took a look, but he continued to move that ball to the right to a wide open Eli Goldman. And 2 of those 5 Med City defenders, they were scrambling to regain positioning, but by then it was too late. Eli fired home the opening goal through traffic to the diving keeper's right, and it was 1-0 City. Amazing. Exactly what we were looking for.
The kid scores goals, right?
That's right.
Well, despite the fact that Nordo and I totally lost our shit in the booth when the ball went in, my reaction was that everything on that play hinged on one crucial decision. And that was a striker in Justin Oliver who makes his hay having a nose for the goal and always trying to find his own shot.
Yeah.
Made, I think, the smartest play of the match by taking an added touch to set up what looked like a shot and then drawing that last defender over to help and then slotting it to Eli, who smashed it home.
The second goal immediately afterwards coincided with the frustration that was starting to show more and more on Med City faces. Nick Hutton, who had been a beast all game, you and I were talking about it, like the way that guy's able to go up, compete for balls in the air, and trap them off his chest, deflect it in the direction he needs it to go, and make a move was amazing. He would then turn and outfox defenders over and over again. This time he found himself with some time on the left side of the field and decided to rip a long-range shot. Why not? Something Nick Hutton is successful at. Looks like it might have been deflected a little by the defender, maybe not. And up and over the keeper it went, and into the far right corner. And before fans could have even stopped celebrating the first goal, they had a second.
And Nordo and I lost our shit in the booth on that one as well. But this was all on the back of Abdallah Ba. I think he stuck with his mazy run that he was making the whole game, really. Kept the ball, and if not, I mean, if he would have lost the ball there, we've gotten destroyed on a counterattack because I went back and watched it. There was just total disjointed, just no sense of a formation. Everyone had kind of just like reacted to winning the ball in our defensive third before he went on that run. And he kept with it. The ball popped to Hutton, who issued a perfectly placed shot over Jarvis. And I mean, again, who at that point was man of the match for both teams because he was making saves all up and down the book.
Yeah, that's when Med City really turned the pressure on. It's something that we might have expected a little earlier, but long ball after long ball was being served forward, which is funny because they had subbed Neto off. They're like the guy that's super successful gathering their long balls. That's why they developed that long ball game. But anyway, long ball after long ball, served forward. They were marauding in and around the box. They had some really good ball movement. They had a number of near misses, like guys that had wide open shots that just skied them through the uprights. It was a scary time for Minneapolis City. The defense held strong, however, save for a handball that was called in the box, led to a converted PK. Med City got that goal back, and I'm telling you, time after time, Med City flew forward, and we were able to weather the storm. Mm-hmm. Like you said, partly thanks to AO being able to keep up with on-rushing forwards. Part of it being that we were just able to drop 6 dudes into the back line. For almost 9 minutes of stoppage time, we kept up with it. A lot of it was standing around and arguing with the ref, to be fair, but the final whistle blew eventually, and our ticket to Detroit was punched. So let's get into thoughts on this game really quickly overall. I'm going to say I was impressed. Coach Pribble was on the bench this time. I was impressed with his use of subs. You brought it up in the first Med City game. You liked how the subs were used. I really liked how the subs were used in this last one. Kevin Andrews, I think, was a masterful early sub. The things that he was doing on the ball, the trickery, the ability to burn his defenders and kind of start clearing out space for other people was great. I think Charlie for Hoof did exactly the job that he was supposed to do. Keep it physical, be able to kind of compete with some of those dirtier tricks in the book. And I think even the late game forward subs where they were in to help maintain possession and help defend the lead. Guys like Tim Wills, guys like Ben Wexler, very, very good substitutions overall.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Adam did exactly what needed to be done, and the players that he inserted did exactly what they needed to do. And without Kevin, I think, holding the ball up and drawing some fouls, beating guys one-on-one, killing out the clock, and keeping the ball, there could have been quite a few more Med City chances.
Yeah.
Also, Charlie's a basher. He went in, disrupted play. He kept the ball when he had it. And then Timmy did Timmy things, holding up the ball, and then working hard to defend.
Yeah. On the other side of the ball, we mentioned it a little bit regarding the Friday game, but it was really on display on Tuesday night. Just not impressed with Med City's continued meltdown on the field and on the bench. Yellows everywhere. Another straight red to the bench, this time a player. Number 11 kicking Ba after the Hutton goal as he goes to celebrate with his teammates. Dude,
that was out of nowhere.
He takes a pot shot at his legs, like, all very strange, super disappointing, really, for me, given that Med City making the playoffs is really kind of the feel-good story of the NPSL North this year, besides Aris winning 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you wanted to... It should have been a game that we were excited to see a new opponent in, right?
Yeah,
The league should have been... The fans of the league should have been excited to watch, should have felt really happy coming away, no matter what the result was. But to be honest, like, discipline and execution was out the window when it could have won the game for them. And instead they just threw one big, like, half-hour-long tantrum.
I don't really have much more to add to that. What you said, I think, is accurate. And to be honest, because at this point it matters for not.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go back to it. The only thing that matters to me is that the really bad could have happened because of what was going on, but luckily it didn't, and we got out alive. And then now we're going to be going to face a team in one of the best atmospheres in North American soccer on Friday night. So that's what we have to focus on, and the other stuff is just let the other guys have the eye bruise, and we just continue to move on.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's hear what Captain Aaron Olson had to say about the game as I caught up to him afterwards. Not only about what's going on with the game, but what we're going to face in what is one of the best atmospheres in soccer, like you said.
Detroit. All right. I'm here with team captain Aaron Olson after the 2-1 playoff victory for Minneapolis City. Aaron, you're headed to Detroit. Big trip in advance of probably the biggest trip since Rochester, right?
Yes.
And it comes on the heels of a dramatic victory. How are emotions gonna be on the bus / van / mom's car?
Well, I have to think that it's gonna be like any other road trip. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna have some jokes. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna celebrate this win on the way there, but not take anything for granted. And this was the plan. The plan in the beginning of the season was to get to regional playoffs. Now, was it to be in this situation? Not entirely. We wanted to host, and we had that on our fingertips. But given the circumstances that unraveled, we can't be mad about tonight.
You're keeping it loose. Are you ready for the insane atmosphere that is rumored to live at Hamtramck, Detroit, Michigan, with whatever it's called, Keyworth Stadium?
I think we're all excited, but the thing about that type of environment is if you've never been in it, then you can't imagine it until you're in it. So what we got to do is just play our game, stick to our strategy, and don't let anybody get in our heads, which we haven't.
You played center back tonight. Your preferred position, personally, it sounds like, in what looked like kind of sometimes a 5-man, sometimes a 3-man back line. What was the adjustment that Minneapolis City made to address the shortcomings against Duluth on Friday?
Yeah, I think that at one point it was an 11 back line there. But no, Adam is always thinking in game. Matt is always thinking in game. They're always evolving the game plan, and we're a team that can adjust. And that's part of our strategy too, is to see what the other teams are giving us, because we know we're good enough to take that and just put a little twist on what we do to make sure that we can
go the extra mile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I got you. Mickey Mouse socks. What the difference that they made today?
Oh man, yeah. These are my lucky socks. I wear them every game. I just got them this year, and what's more American than Disney?
It's working out great.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron. Good luck in Detroit, man. We'll see you.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah. Good game.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. I got you. I got your blood on me. Oh my God.
Dude?
I got a mosquito for you.
I think Aaron's got the right approach going into this trip. He's always got his head on straight, so he's always a good guy to talk to. But I think I like the loose approach. Right? They're not at this point. Every game is bonus soccer for the Minneapolis City players. Right? It's just another way to build on the brotherhood experience. And if we keep winning, then that's awesome. It's great to be able to go to these environments, great to be able to play against different teams and against different talent levels, and I love the positivity around it. We'll talk a little bit about what they can expect in Detroit later, but for now, I think he's taking the right approach.
It's interesting you talk about the brotherhood piece of it. Both Dan and I addressed the team at training the day or the week that we were going into the first Med City game. So last week. And we basically said, start making your arrangements for the playoffs, because we're definitely going to be there, and it's going to be in Detroit, and all that logistical stuff. But what Dan said and I echoed was, at the age of these guys and their soccer journey that they're in, no one's ever going to remember the day that they took off work on a Friday or a Thursday and a Friday, but they're always going to remember the trip we took to Detroit.
Yeah.
And I echoed that sentiment, but I also said, and Dan did too, that like we're almost in our 40s now, and it gets harder and harder every year, whether you're in your early 20s or your late 20s or your early 30s, to continue to have chances like this. And it's important for us to strive for those things, but also to realize we may not get back there again. We saw in this 2019 season, and I'm sure we're going to go through a recap show that everyone's going to definitely want to hear, but everybody else in the league leveled up this year, and it's not going to stop.
Right.
So the guys that are here now, and the guys that are breaking into the team that are new this year, guys like Eli and Noah and Mike Riley, and some of the younger guys too that were more full-time players that were U23 call-ups last year, like Murakami and O'Driscoll. Those are the guys of the future. But guys like Aaron Olson and Matt Elder and Ben Wexler and Whitney and Martin and Nick Hutton, they don't have many years left. So you have to go into this with a positive outlook and just work hard. And then if it doesn't work out in our favor, it's one for the storybooks. And if it does, it's also one for the storybooks. So I like how he kind of wove that into his comments.
Yeah. John, who was your man of the match? I think that's kind of what I want to hear. So many possibilities. We've given it to Hutton before. Eli obviously had the opening goal. A lot of options for you.
Yes. So it's a really hard one for me, but I'm going to say Abdallah Ba. So why I say Abdallah is that he was called upon the entire game to track down just waves of Med City attacks. And in most times than not, it was just him up against a 1v1 or a 1v2 situation. And he performed admirably doing that. I still think that his natural position is at left back, because he just plays so good there. And he was all PLA selection as a left back. But he went the full 90, still had gas in his tank to bomb up and down the field pretty much all day. And on many occasions, he created chances for us out of the left back spot, including the game winner. And plus he made Jarvis have a miracle save away from a third goal on that free kick, to which at that point, I think we had 5 or 6 chances from that similar spot, and no one else on the team could put the ball on target. Nope. So this guy's got tired legs, and he still almost puts us up, 3 goals to the good. So, I mean, like you said, you could have given it to Nick Hutton for scoring the game winner, Eli for what he did with his goal and what he did off of his goal, through the run of play and other instances, but it's definitely Ba for me.
No, that's great. I love the pick. For years now, whenever it's been time to talk playoffs in the NPSL, we consult with the foremost Midwestern soccer expert, the Nostradamus of the North, the Great Lakes, and the East, Fletcher Sharpe. Fletcher of Midfield Press fame writes about the NPSL, loves but will never try bicycle kicks. He's been on the show a couple times. Fletcher, welcome back. It's good to have you.
I'm glad to be considered in high praise. Typically, people are like, "Oh, and we have this guy too." So
no, man. This is the thing. If we need to know what's going on out east, you're the guy. You got your finger on the pulse.
I'll take that compliment.
Let's start with the state of the NPSL Midwest playoffs. Right, we know that Minneapolis City has punched its ticket, and we will be playing Detroit on Friday night, which is tomorrow. We knew as of yesterday or as of this morning that Cleveland was still waiting for an opponent between Ann Arbor and Rochester, but that a result has been decided tonight in the game that they decided to play. Independent of that, without getting into the game really quickly, what's been going down in Ann Arbor? Like what happened? Give us kind of the 10,000-foot view of what happened and why this Ann Arbor Rochester match was so strange.
So, for those who don't know, Michigan has very chaotic weather. Like, it can be raining at 9 in the morning, sleeting at 11, sunny from like noon till 5, then all of a sudden like a typhoon later. It's very weird. Michigan has very weird weather. But Tuesday in Michigan, it was forecasted that it would rain a little bit between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Ann Arbor's game was supposed to start at 6:30 against Rochester. It did not rain a little bit. It rained a lot. Like a lot. And Rochester's coaches were worried that coming to a stadium in Michigan that did not have lights, driving 8 hours to play in a stadium that didn't have lights at 6:30 on a weekday was very sketchy. And if something were to happen, like a weather delay, it would push the game way too far into close to darkness. And if there's no lights, they can't play.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. There were 2 weather delays. Just as a measure of time, my girlfriend gets off work at 9 o'clock, and it's normally pitch dark then, and I pick her up then. I turned on the stream to look, and Arbor was still trying to play. And Arbor and Rochester were still trying to play that game at 9:12 at night. I could look on the
twilight.
Stream, you couldn't see anything. Like, it was almost like pull up a car with your headlights type of darkness.
Get out the high visibility ball.
So, Ann Arbor took one shot, and the ref was like, "Yep, he made the save. Good. We're calling this game. Game's called." And you can even see in the stream, people are like, "What happens now?" Players are like, "Oh, good game, whatever. Like, do we go to penalty kicks? Do we do whatever?" There's a bunch of he said, she said between the two teams.
Mm-hmm.
Rochester's like, we told them earlier we didn't want to play in a field like this. The league said do it. They told us that when we got there, they had a contingency plan. They made us play in the field anyways.
Yep.
And Arbor countered with, when the first lightning strike happened, they would go to delay. We asked Rochester to move to our contingency plan. They said they want to stay here. And it's both sides sound very wrong. But the first resolution they were going to have was, okay, we're going to have Rochester come back tomorrow and play, which
tough proposition when they've flown all the way.
We're going to have them stay, not come back. We're going to have them stay a bit, play as early as possible, then go back, which, as you know, being a part of an NPSL team, people have jobs, so that's not really an option.
Right.
But even before the option could be materialized, the coach and the general manager had their players leave that night. They were just gone. So they're like, all right, next plan, a coin toss. And everyone was like, that sounds stupid.
The internet
that's
went up in arms.
Literally the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Everyone's played super hard this season to get to this point, and we're going to decide it with a coin toss. So after a day of having a coin toss be the answer and being made fun of, the NPSL came back with, hey, they're going to meet in the city that's between them, Erie, Pennsylvania, at a field that has lights at Gannon University, where the Erie Commodores / Admirals / whatever name they've had in the past play. And they played. And they started the game from the 69th minute and played 21 minutes forward, and then I think 20 minutes of extra time instead of the full 30, and then penalty kicks.
Interesting.
And Rochester scored on a play where the goalie went up for the ball, got possession, bobbled it, got bumped and dropped it, and Rochester poked it in. Ann Arbor came back and scored immediately after to tie the game up. They went to extra time. Nothing happened. They went to penalty kicks. Rochester hit their first. Ann Arbor's guy had his save, and it kind of went from there. Rochester won 5-3 in penalty kicks, and will be playing Cleveland, their division foe, in the next game.
Nice. And that happens tomorrow or Saturday?
Tomorrow.
All right.
Friday.
Yes, Friday. Before or after the Minneapolis City game?
Before, yeah, because the home seed always plays first.
Okay.
The
And
number
then
one seed always plays first, and yeah, so.
So both games are going to be played at Keyworth.
Yep, you're gonna get the East Division game between Cleveland and Buffalo is gonna get like some fans. Then near the end, it's gonna fill up. Minneapolis City is gonna get the full brunt of all Keyworth fans. They might break the record for fans for this game.
It's pretty cool. I wish I could be there. So I got to ask you, Fletcher, have you been watching or seen much of Minneapolis City this year via the My Cuju stream? And it's okay to say no.
I've tried. I've watched some clips. I've watched the game day Twitter feed, but like My Cujo is terrible. Like I hate to like trash the app because I know they're trying to make things fair. Like I know last year Detroit City had a partnership with like Fox Sports Detroit where you could actually like watch on like one of like the Fox Sports Detroit's like 5th channels. You can actually watch Detroit City games on your television.
Sure.
Watch it online, which was like great because it's like, hey, this is easy. I have Fox Sports Detroit app. I'll set an alarm for Detroit City games. We're good. But it made it unfair because other teams did not have means to this production. So they're like, well, everyone uses My Cujo. It's league wide. Everyone can use it. It's easy. I was like, that makes sense. That's perfect. But then I tried to watch a stream there, and like, oh my god, like some teams have like
miss depending on the facilities.
Some teams have decent streams, and some teams you watch one play and then it's a freeze frame for 20 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it went from being 0-0 to 4-1. What happened?
Yep.
And you go to watch, and there's like a little highlights button. I don't know if you've ever watched like the highlights. You go to watch the highlights of teams. And I won't name any teams, but a team in your division who is not in the playoffs this year only makes highlights for their own team.
Yep.
Yes. So when
and
you go to watch,
if the guy in the booth is even paying attention, because sometimes the highlights are just kickoff, halftime, kickoff.
Because you guys are playing them, and it's like, oh, it's 0-0. Highlight.
Skip ahead.
They scored a goal, but why is it 3-1 now? Oh, they scored another goal. Why is it 4-2? Where's the other 4 goals?
I know who you're talking about now.
Those don't matter, I guess. Okay, like my girlfriend was sitting here watching me like scroll back and forth, see how did these goals happen? What happened here? She's like, "Why don't you just get a highlight?" I'm like, "Leave me alone. I've done this already. It's not working. You're frustrating me. This app is frustrating me. The people in that city are frustrating me. I don't care anymore." But to answer your question with a shorter answer, I have watched some. I have grown to enjoy watching Will Kidd on the wings, Justin Oliver cutting in, and Martin Brown doing Martin Brown things from the dead ball spot.
Yeah, you're in luck because Will and Justin, I know, are traveling for sure. Martin is expecting his twins soon, so he's stepped back from city duties for the most part. But I think we sent an interesting team. I'll let the game tomorrow speak for itself as far as kind of the roster that we brought. But you're going to see some old city faces that are shipped in from places like Iowa and Nebraska that are on the roster that kind of had to step back this summer, but they're back for the playoffs, baby.
There you go.
And you're going to see some of the new guys, so that's good. So if you've been keeping an eye on the NPSL Midwest in general, maybe half an eye on the North, what's your take on kind of how the North shaped up this summer? What are your top 3 stories for the NPSL North?
I don't know if I can give you 3. I can say overall,
yep,
the play has been better. I won't say I was a vocal critic, but I will say when Duluth and Dakota came here to Hamtramck the first year, I was like, great. I'm happy and excited to see these teams because I know Minneapolis City is there. I've seen the way they assembled their roster. I know that they're a bit more technologically advanced in the way that they set up their team than these other teams, but I really want to see it. and Duluth and Dakota played like the ugliest version of kickball and like lost on aggregate like 10-1, I think. Yeah, Duluth got beat 5-0. No, Dakota got beat 5-0. Duluth got beat 5-1, and it made me more frustrated because Dakota had Jade Johnson, who had scored 22 goals all season, and he was totally invisible.
Yep.
And I was like, man,
And has
like,
been ever since.
How is this? How is this the league's leading goal scorer? And how is this like one of the league's like higher scoring teams? And like literally no one can play a second touch. Like this is not good. This is bad. But from the clips I've seen this year, even Aris has like the play has gone up, and I'm like, this is great. I am happy to see that. I'm happy to see, because I want the Midwest to win all the titles. Honestly, if I have to choose, I prefer Michigan first because I am from Michigan. But like after that, if it's the Midwest, I am totally okay, unless it's Cleveland, because not Cleveland. But the entire Midwest, I'm happy. I want the Midwest to flourish. People don't realize the Midwest has like a nice hotbed of soccer. There's some really great talented players here who could play in other places if they really wanted to. Some can't. Some can and just choose to play here, and I appreciate it because I get to watch them easier than having to watch them on some weird backward stream.
Yeah.
So like I just want the Midwest to get better, and to see that the North stepped it up, the East stepped it up, even the Midwest, which is playing at a pretty decent level, even they stepped it up. It's great. When you look at the power rankings for all these teams, a lot of the Midwestern teams are in there, and like this is for me great. That's great. That means that the Midwest is going up, and even the teams that are bad, are still playing well.
Yeah.
Save for like Toledo Villa, because Toledo Villa, that's another story.
Well,
but
so
no.
Let's talk about the power rankings really quickly, because and kind of like you said, you want the Midwest to compete at a high level. How do you feel that's possible when you've got basically two super high level lower league pro teams in the NPSL in the New York Cosmos and Miami FC, who will probably always be at the top of the power rankings until they find a league that better suits their talent?
So I know a lot of people tend to hate that they're in the league. I don't, for two reasons. Three reasons. One, it's not their fault. 100% like they were banking on the NASL to like flourish, and then the NASL went from 12 teams to like 10 teams to 9 teams to like 6 teams. And so you can't run a league with 6 teams.
No.
So it folded, and they're like, well, we paid these players. What do we do now? We have junior teams in the NPSL. We still have those teams open. Let's just move some of our players to that team. If I paid a player to play for my team and then the team folds, yeah, you're still under contract, buddy. You better ship it on down to wherever and play with these juniors.
Yep.
We paid you the first half of your fee. You can play the first half of the season if you want, then leave. But like after that, whatever.
Sure.
But that's reason one. Reason two, I'm happy because these players are like great. I can speak for Miami FC. They have 2 former AFC and Arbor players. Hector Morales, who played.
Hey, I like that name.
Yeah, he played in the CONIFA World Cup, which is like the non-accredited World Cup. It's like basically a bunch of like small nations of stuff.
Okay.
The U.S. team was what is the area by Portland, Seattle? Forgot.
Like Puget Sound.
Yeah, that area. It's Cascadia.
Oh, okay.
He played for Cascadia's team, along with Yuri Farkas, who's not down there, but that's another AFC player.
That name sounds familiar,
Also in Miami FC. The name definitely sounds familiar because he has the record for the longest suspension for a player, Dario Suarez, who is still like very, very good, even though he's not in Ann Arbor. And people don't seem to as much as people gave him crap for getting suspension, which I think was kind of crap. He got it for a referee assault because he got mad at a call and he kicked the ball from like 50. It was a really great pass, from like 50 yards out, and it landed just and bounced just off the referee's heel. And he's like, "Oh, red card."
What? Just
Red card.
and
I
they
was
called
like,
that
"Ma-"
referee assault.
And so what happened after that is Dario walked up to him, put his hand on the guy's shoulder. Like, I saw video of it. And was like, "Sir, like, are you for real?" And then as they walked down the tunnel because the game had ended, he followed him down. He was like, "Sir, like, are you really going to give me a card for that? Like, is that really what happened?" But the way that the home people wrote it and the way the refs wrote it, they wrote it like Dario ran up there and like grabbed him and like threw him. But watching the entire video, that never happened.
Huh.
But the NPSL decided to give him 6 months, a 6-month suspension.
That's crazy. For an unpaid player.
Effectively ruining, which if you don't know Dario's story, Dario is a Cuban international player. Like, I don't mean like U23. I mean like he played for Cuba
Like in the
for
Gold
3
Cup.
games. Yes. And then after a game where they got hammered, I think in 2014, 2015, he defected. So like Dario's really here, and like that's kind of it.
He needs to play soccer.
He really needs to play. So if you suspend him for 6 months, that's why he went from Ann Arbor to Miami, because Miami's like, "We're gonna pay you to be a player."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, I need the money."
Nice.
Yes. And I'm happy, so happy for him. But there are players like that for Cosmos, Motown FC, which is in Morristown, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. And Miami, they have players that are professional players that are like you, that are going to raise the level of play. Because you're going to be in that division, either you're going to let them drop 12 goals on you every single time, or you're going to get better and stop that.
Sure.
Either or. And 3, it's just great to watch these players. Honestly, like I sounds like I'm kind of fanboying over them, but like they're really, really good, and watching them do the things that they do really well against defense that's actually there is like it's a sight to see. And like Dario Suarez had a goal from his Ann Arbor days from like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, where he turned someone around. Like, you watch the Premier League?
Yeah.
Remember the goal Eden Hazard had against Arsenal where he turned Francis Coquelin around like a top, and then went and tapped it in?
I'd rather not remember that.
Dario had a goal like that where he turned a player around like in one full circle, grabbed the ball from 20 yards out, top right corner, and like no one moved, because it's like you can't do anything to stop that. And I was like, that's an amazing goal. Where like I know I'm media, but I yelled out, "Oh my God!" Like in the press box. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you stop that? All the fans got very quiet. Like, oh, we don't know how to respond to that. So like just seeing players and teams like that in this league, either the league will get better or they're just going to run the league. And I don't really think that the teams I can't speak for the South because Miami put up like 70 goals. So like I can't speak for that division, but I know with Cosmos and Motown and that area, they're like, we're not going to let these teams run away with this division. We're going to do something to get better.
Yeah, I mean, not to get into a longer conversation about this, but I feel like on some level, most of the teams in the league, if they are aspiring to be like the Tulsa Athletics or Little Rock Rangers, Rochester's, Detroit's, Minneapolis City's, all those teams, happy just to be at this level, right? Happy to be making these playoffs. If we can advance, that'd be awesome. But I think, to your point, any aspirations that these teams have of winning the league while a team like Cosmos or Miami or Motown are in it are pipe dreams until the whole level of play league-wide rises. The rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
So, yeah, obviously, clearly you have your finger on the pulse of NPSL play. Let's get a little more local to you. Before we get into the match for between Minneapolis City and Detroit, tell us what you know about Cleveland and Rochester. What's that game gonna be like?
I have not looked up on Rochester much. I know they have a really great goalkeeper in William Benahene. He's like a stud, and I know last year and the year before they were like not very good.
Mm-hmm.
He kept them in a lot of games just because like he was an amazing keeper.
You'll remember that Rochester is the team that Minneapolis City lost to in the Open Cup qualifiers. In 2017, I believe, in that November.
Isn't that the one where like they
didn't give us a locker room in a snowstorm? Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. Well, I have feelings about that, and I will not put them on here. But I have feelings about that. and they're not good ones.
Yep.
But I know they have Benahene. That's really all I know about their team. I'm not gonna lie. I know more about Cleveland because their story. While I don't like I don't like the whole setup. Their story is really heartwarming. They used to be a part of the NPSL. They used to be partially owned by the NPSL. And then their owners decided to not pay the team fee to get into the league.
What?
And it was kind of a shock that like they were like, we're not paying this, and they're like, all right, the year after they won the championship, they folded. That
Just
was
straight up
literally
like,
it.
yep, we're done.
And I was like, that's okay. That's weird. That's very weird. I don't really know what happened there, but like if that's really how you feel, you're not going to pay, then good luck to you, I guess. So the players and some of the people a part of the league or part of the team are like, yo, we really want to keep playing the city. So AFC Cleveland became Cleveland SC, and it's really run by like different people, but like it's the same players and like
that's okay, interesting.
So like you'll recognize names like what's Tom Beck, one of my favorite players in the Midwest, even if he does play for Cleveland, Vinny Bell.
Vinny Bell.
The timeless 6'2" forward who maybe can't move like he used to, but will always find an opening in the box. I don't really care if you put someone on him; he's still open, and I don't really know how that is. But I've watched him score 2 or 3 goals where he's like man marked by 2 people, and somehow he's just open between them.
And Vinny Bell for a while was in the running for Golden Boot, usually year after year, and he would.
And then he slowed down. He honestly got older and is like that's a different part of his game.
Yeah.
But like he was like a prolific, like you need to make, and he still does it now. He just can't do it for 90 minutes, but he'll still do it for like 30, 40.
Yeah.
They have a player that I don't like at all, and I don't mind having this bias out there. Really good player, played for the U.S. national futsal team. Antonio Manfoot.
Manfoot.
I probably am saying it wrong.
Sounds awesome.
I know his nickname is Tonchito.
Okay.
And they call him Mighty Mouse because he's like 5'3", 5'4". I don't like him because he's dirty. I've witnessed him do like 3 or 4 not very savory things on the field and then get mad when they've been called on him. Or like I remember last year against Ann Arbor, there was like a stoppage of play and he like went up to a player and started jogging and like hit the dude in the back of the head. And the ref didn't see it. The ref just saw the Ann Arbor player get furious about it and was like, everyone calm down. They both just got yellows. And I was like, no, we have film of him hitting a player in the back of the head. Suspend him. Suspend him, please. Suspend him. Like the little bit of power that I have in the NPSL, I was like, no. Here's a clip of this happening. 2 different angles. Suspend him. Get him out of here. We don't do that here. Sorry. We don't teach kids to do stuff. The kids are watching. They think it's okay. No one stopped him.
Right.
But he's a talented player. He's had 2 wonder goals this year. 1 great free kick, 1 great ball from 60 yards out. But I didn't put him in my list.
Is that the guy that was up for goal of the year?
Yes. The free kick from them? Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
So I didn't put them on my goals of the year because, forget that guy. But they were talented and he's a good player.
All right.
They have a few their defenders are much less soccer defenders and much more like football people. They understand the concept of like a soccer movement, but like they're big guys. They're big. One of them has like a Peter Cech-esque headgear. So like, yeah, the midfielders, save for Tonchito, are a bit older, but they all play well. They have one guy who played for Besiktas for like a little bit on their team. He's really old though, but like he played for Besiktas, so like take him seriously.
Yeah.
And their forwards are led by Vinny Bell, who I've mentioned, and that's really it. They have some other players, but like none that really stand out like those 3 or 4. Their goalie is pretty good as well. He'll make a regular save, he'll make a pretty great save, but he's not the best goalie I've seen in the Midwest. But he's good enough.
All right. So the winner of Cleveland Rochester will go up against, of course, the winner of Minneapolis City, Detroit City. Let's talk about Detroit City really quickly. Last year, they missed the playoffs, but the year before, as you've already mentioned, they spanked Duluth in this very round. This year, it's a little different. Detroit City is gearing up for the Founders Cup that starts in August, and I guess pro status, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean what I think it means, that Minneapolis City is going to be going up against contracted players this weekend?
Yes and no. A lot of Detroit's professed players who will be playing in the Founders Cup, not a lot, but maybe half of them, are not we're like Detroit City. They're very smart. They're very smart in the way they worded their player announcements. Like a player will sign, and he's like, "This player joined us for the regular season. This player joined us for the entire season. This player joined us for the Founders Cup." So like you have to make notice of who's playing for like the college players. Like this player joined us for the regular season.
They make a point to
right differentiate.
Yeah, so they can kind of manipulate some stuff.
Yeah, because you don't like fans will get happy for the player signing, but like saying someone joined for the Founders Cup means that they're probably not going to play at all until like the last few games, friendlies up until the Founders Cup,
Until
like just to save them. Right.
And to point out, just real quick for the maybe some listeners that might not know what the Founders Cup is, it's basically the NPSL's introduction to pro status, right? It's like their initiation into pro status for some of these teams who have the means to pay their players.
Right. It's really weird because most of the teams in it are like good teams. There are like a few great teams, but most of the teams are good teams.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have teams like Milwaukee, which I don't get. Milwaukee Torrent. And like this is one thing I was gonna say is if either be an expansion team where you have no history, or like have like a good history, but don't have like a bad history and then say we're gonna go pro. Like Milwaukee Torrent has never been, even indoor have never been good. Or they're like, hey, what we should do? We should go pro. You're gonna pay your players to lose. Like that's thinking backwards. Like that's galaxy brain thinking backwards. Just lose and don't pay them. It's fine. Like if you're gonna win, then maybe think about paying them. If you're gonna lose, like go 2-7 every season, don't pay them because clearly it's not working.
Hey, if people are filling the packing the stands and you're making the money, you might as well pay them. So I mean, wait, real quickly. So Detroit City, the guys that we're playing this weekend, you're saying might not be the guys that are
some of them will be. Some of them will be. I can say maybe about a third to half the roster. Okay. I'm not certain which college players have gone back yet. I do know that a few of Michigan's players that were on the roster, namely their wonderkin goalie, Owen Finnerty, 17 years old, has not allowed I think one goal this season, splitting time with Hunter Morse from Michigan State. I know he's gone back to Michigan, or he's enrolled at Michigan now. I think a few more of the Michigan players have gone back as well. I don't know if any of their Michigan State players have gone back. I do know if those state players have gone back, that will drastically affect who's out there. But excluding the college players, the players you would want to worry about who probably might be contracted, number 9, Sean-Claude Lawson. I've been a little harsh on him over the past few years. I loved him early on. I think he's a great, talented wing forward, but to be a center forward, I don't think he possesses the physical tools to do that, but he proved me wrong. He currently leads the Midwest in goals scored with 13. Really close to actually vying for the national global Golden Boot, which is like
14?
Nuts. 13.
No, but 14 looks like there's a ton of people.
Oh, 14, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even look at that. I thought that I know there's the guy for FC Arizona has 18.
Oh yeah, that player's got 18. Otherwise it's mostly a lot of 13s, a lot of 14s.
Oh, well, never mind then. I know the season's even over anyways. But Sean-Claude, something you need to worry about. No real bangers. He hasn't scored any goals from like 15, 20 yards out where you're like, "Oh my god." But like he's always in the right position. He's always ready. He's always looking to score. So a ball gets lobbed up and he's there, there's a good chance he's putting the ball towards net. If your goalie's not ready, it will go in. The player that I would worry about the most, he's actually I can give some little secret. My pick for player of the year for the entire league.
Oh yeah, I saw your tweet about that today.
Detroit's Max Todd, number 11. He started out playing forward for Detroit, and like 2 years ago, he came. His most iconic goal up until this year was the first game against the Milwaukee Torrent, where it was a game where they released a bunch of smoke bombs, and it was so bad that people couldn't even see the field at all.
Oh, but Detroit couldn't deal with that?
The ref was like, well, just play, I guess. And I was on the field taking pictures with my phone and making notes, and I was like, I don't know where the ball is. But on a corner kick, the ball came in, got knocked out for a shot. But the goalie made a great reaction save, just got down and just punched it. And Matt Todd was there to tap it in. And like that was the most iconic goal because coming out of like the smoke, you just see Detroit players celebrating in the corner.
That's cool.
Which if you have a good camera, that's like a pretty good shot. That's something you might win some money for. He went away for a year. I forgot where he played. I think he played for FC Chicago United of the USL League 2, which is a really good team. That's like the Chicago Fire's baby team. So if you play for them, like they expect you to have some sort of talent.
Sure.
Then he came back this year. They bumped him down to attacking mid, and like it unlocked his game. He has 9 goals in the season. I think he has like 10 assists as well.
Yeah.
And he's like left people for dead with all his dangles. Like he's very, very good. Detroit also has their Studley center midfielder who's not played as much this year, Cyrus Sadie, who's like the ageless wonder. I think he's like 25, 26, but it's also because
ageless. He's a kid.
he graduated from Michigan State at like 19 or 20. So like that makes sense why he's been in City since the beginning. But like you'd think like, man, he's like got to be like mid-30s or something, but no, he's like 26 just because he's been there for so long. He's not been playing as much, which I don't know if it's an injury or just from scheme play, but he's someone you don't want to let open on the wings because you let him one-on-one with the wings. I've seen back when what's that team? Venezia came to Hamtramck for their friendly against Detroit City. Filippo Inzaghi watched him play, watched him cut up 2 of his defenders as like, we're signing him after this game.
That was what, that was 2 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah,
3 years ago?
Yeah. But we're taking him to Italy now. Like, whatever the contract needs to be, we'll talk later. And just he had some family commitments to where he couldn't. I
was going to say, they clearly didn't. No.
He couldn't leave because he had some family stuff to take care of. Otherwise, he definitely would have left. And like, I'd be happy for him. That's like a great, move. But yeah, Detroit also has 2 great center backs, both newcomers, Jalen Chrysler and Musagie. Both big center backs, both with big feet, long, strong through balls, and very good on the ball. Very good on the ball for their position. Mm-hmm. So Detroit moved to 3-5-2. So it's kind of been unheard of in the NPSL. Most people run 4 in the back. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit of a adjustment period, but they rattled off I think 9 straight, 10 straight wins. Yeah. During the season, and when it clicked for them, like it clicked for them. So I would look out to be attacked on the wings.
So Detroit, you guys do also have they also have I shouldn't say you guys, you're not affiliated, but they also do have a new head coach,
Trevor James.
Yep. And is this the guy that kind of ushered in this era of the 3-5-2? Yeah.
Ben Pierman ran a 4-4-2, 4-3-3 hybrid, depending on who is one of the midfielders. If it was one of the quicker guys, they'd kind of push him more up. If it was one of the more stout guys, they'd put him in the middle, like get a little bit of a diamond. Trevor James used to coach for the LA Galaxy, like one of their setup. He coached for the Indiana 11. Indiana 11 used to be bad. Like, I don't know if you follow USL Championship. They used to be really bad. And now they're like mediocre. And that's because Trevor James came and fixed a bunch of stuff in there. And then Detroit was like, we want him. So like, yeah, he's the guy who come like fix some stuff and like help elevate. And at first it was kind of rocky. Their preseason games, they lost to Michigan State, the college team. Michigan State's a really good college team. They've been producing professional players in the draft for like the last 3-4 years.
Sure.
And like they have really great kids. But like you guys are professional. You guys are trying to be professional. You can't lose to a college team. They lost to Michigan State. They lost to Flint City Bucks, who also had a resurgence. They had their 1 year last year. They didn't make the playoffs, which snapped like a 16-year streak. In the Michigan Bucks or the Flint City Bucks now, have only missed the playoffs twice in their entire being. And I think that's like a 93, 94% chance of them making the playoffs when the season starts, which is like amazing. I would happily miss if I'm going to make it 10 years in a row. But Detroit City started off rough, losing these friendlies.
But they end up pulling it together, right? Like
Right,
6
right.
goals against on the season. Like that's a
What happened is they finally clicked. I talked to Coach James a few times in between. He's like, once the players get used to these new positions they're in, some of these left backs are playing now as a bit of a midfielder. Some of these, wide midfielders are playing more defensively. They're not used to it. But once they settle on their positions like they did, they took off. They started crushing people.
Goal differential in the season for Detroit City is 33 with 39 goals for and 6 against. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, they when they get you in the torture rack, they get you in the torture rack.
So where does Minneapolis City have an opportunity to maybe snatch victory tomorrow night, Friday night?
The big three of the Midwest Great Lakes is Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Ann Arbor. And there are 4 games against Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Ann Arbor. They have 1 win and 3 ties. All right. Their formation worked really, really well. I mean, the 1 win came late against Ann Arbor, but their formation works really, really well, and it kind of mows over teams that don't really play. That either are trying to park the bus with inferior players, or are trying to play them straight up and just don't have the talent for it. Ann Arbor went at them, kind of played a bit more defensive, but went at them. Grand Rapids ran 5 in the back. So that kind of threw a wrench in there. But against quality play, Detroit's been very slowed down. They've scored a lot of goals, but a lot of the goals have come against not the best defense. Against quality teams, first game against Ann Arbor was 0-0. Grand Rapids was 0-0. Second game against Grand Rapids, I think, was 1-1. 1-1 or 2-2. And the second game against it was 1-1. Second game against Ann Arbor, they won 3-1. So it kind of clicked on late, but that's 4 games where they scored 4 goals total.
Sure.
So,
a team that can pin them back, or a team that can that can make sure that they need all 5 guys back or need 4 guys back to defend instead of just 3, sounds like a little more successful. Someone that can do that for the whole game, obviously better. Sounds like Detroit can kind of turn it on late. Yeah. And
I think Minneapolis has a talent to do so. Obviously Minneapolis is a lot closer. I mean this in no disrespect. It's going to come off sounding like I'm a dick, but I totally don't mean it like this. Minneapolis is way closer to Ann Arbor and Grand Rapids than they are to FC Indiana.
Oh yeah.
In terms of talent.
Yeah.
So I foresee them giving Detroit some issues. I don't mean some issues they got a nice long ball through another. I mean you guys are gonna be able to play a part of your game sometimes against them. They'll be able to play a part of their game sometimes against you guys. It'll be a really good game. I'm looking forward to it. The last time Detroit played a team from the North was Dakota, then Duluth. Dakota, I was I'm looking forward to this to see Jade. Then they got blown out. I'm I don't want to see them play Duluth. I was talking to somebody. They're like, hey, Duluth plays just like Dakota, except a little bit more direct. And I'm oh, that's terrible. I don't want to see
Duluth
that another
team,
game.
Year 1 of the NPSL North was a different situation than it has been in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I've noticed they've evolved a bit. They've gotten a few more creative players in the middle, but it was really just we're going to throw a long ball and throw elbows. One of these is going to connect. Either we're going to score a goal through a long ball, or we're just going to hit you, and you're just going to not want to get the ball.
Yeah.
So they tried that in Detroit, and it did not work out for them because the defenders were yo, we're not about to let you punk us. So I was I don't want to see this again. If it's not I don't want to see long balls thrown because after the first 4 people get it and they move back and then your play's done.
Yep.
So watching Minneapolis City the past 2 years and watching them, even last year in the playoffs, I got to call that game they had against them. Watching the way they play technically, watching them move the ball through the middle, get into the wings, and not just hoofing up the field and saying, please go get it and do something. I'm excited to see that type of play because Detroit tends to struggle against people who do that. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out. I'm not saying it's going to go either way or the other. But I really
ability all over the field is something that Detroit isn't used to beyond Ann Arbor and Grand Rapids, is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. So we know you've kind of told us about it, and the legend is out there, right? Keyworth Stadium is a difficult place to visit.
Yeah.
Is there any tips you can give? Any secrets to teams that have had success at Keyworth Stadium in the past?
do not engage the fans because 9 out of 10 times it will not help you.
Yeah.
The one time it does help you, it's not going to help you after the game. Like during the game, sure, you'll feel a little bit of adrenaline bump, but after the game, it's going to be, perfect example I can think too. When Erie came and beat Detroit in the championship to stun them 4-1, their keeper, Danny Mudd, had been talking to them the entire season. And after like the first goal to give him a 1-1 tie, he kind of came off his line and kind of, waved at the defenders, waved at the fans. And then after the next 2 goals, he ran off his line to go engage the fans. Oh. And this is back before like the fans like had made rules to stop being terrible. So like someone threw like a cup or something at him or like a can. And I was like, great, like this is bad. This is not good. So when it got to be 4-1, like he was just going nuts. And even the game they lost to Midland Odessa in the playoffs, their players played well because all except one of them did not engage the fans. But every single time I've seen people engage the fans, it never works well because the fans get fired up. And unlike most teams, Detroit City FC actually feeds off their fans.
Well, the entire stadium feels like a supporters section.
To be fair, and this is not a slight against the NPSL, but it's just like how the league is.
Yeah.
Most teams average about 1,000, 2,000 people, which is like a lot of people. But I guess sometimes you go somewhere and it's like, oh, this is like, to put a comparison, Ann Arbor maybe draws like 600 people to a game, 700 people to a game. Grand Rapids maybe like 2,000, 3,000, maybe 4. FC Indiana like maybe 12 if they're lucky.
12 people.
Yeah, they're not outside of family and friends, maybe 12.
Yeah, we've got teams like that.
So like you go there and play there, it's like okay, we're basically playing like a club college soccer game. Like no one's here to watch except for our family and maybe our group. Cool, whatever. Then you come into here and it's like now you have 9,000 people, 8,000 people yelling at you.
You're just not used to it.
And you have literally one side of the field directing chants directly at you. Like literally you. There are times where like if you do something badly, you commit a bad foul or something, you better hope someone else does something else bad the rest of it. Because if they don't, the rest of the game is going to be them focused on you.
I mean, you just gotta. Are there seats all the way around, or is it just one side, or how's it?
There's seats on both sides. The side that has the press box is like the fan side, and the other side is the supporter section.
Oh,
but it's literally like one long.
I was gonna say that's pretty brutal. That's like BVB style. They have your supporter section along the long side of the field.
Yeah, it's one long and like I'll give them credit. Some people like them, some people don't, but they stand the entire game. So it's 90 minutes of them yelling at you.
Yeah.
And when they score, it's like a row of smoke. It's like we score, we shout, then we smoke you out. They're not kidding. Like it's literally, there have been times, as mentioned, where like so much smoke has happened, you cannot see the field.
Yeah.
I mean, like the players, I don't know how they play through it, but like
Detroit City worked with the neighborhood to basically make their own rules on that stadium, right? Because they rehabilitated it. It's not like they're renting it from a college. It's not like they've got a contract with a local high school and so you can't pop smoke. It's like, this is Detroit City Stadium. They've worked with the neighborhood. They can do whatever they want.
Yes and no. They have to respect some parts of it because they do have a partnership with the Hamtramck, city of Hamtramck. So since it's a high school field, like a high school, Hamtramck High School plays football and soccer and other sports there.
Oh, for real?
So Keyworth is their home, and like they are, unlike with Cass, where it was Cass's home and like Detroit City FC played there and rented it.
Mm-hmm.
Keyworth is their home, like it is theirs. They're part of the community, but they also share it with the high school. So like while they can pop smoke and while they can like you can drink alcohol there and everything, like they want to make sure that it's like, the Japanese fans of the World Cup after every game they clean up after it.
Yeah,
the Northern guy does that. It's like
take
all
care
right,
of the neighborhood.
Yeah, And that's one thing I do. One thing I do appreciate about Detroit City FC, and like not to get all sappy over it, is I really appreciate how, whether some people consider Hamtramck a part of Detroit or not, how they embrace the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like they really are like, hey, we hold camps for neighborhood kids who like want to just come and play. It's free to ages like, between ages like 4 to 12. You want to come kick around with some of us? Sure. You want to come do this? Sure. We have like camps for kids. We have drives for like clothes. We have players come out and sign stuff. And I'm like, that's really great. They're actually really embracing the neighborhood. They could like be this team that's like a huge monolith. We're amazing and we just don't care. We're not going to come talk to you. We do not have time for this. But the players like, I want to go sign these shirts for these 20 kids. I do not mind that it's going to take an extra. I'm like, that's amazing.
It's hard to resist that kind of atmosphere. Like when you've got a crowd, I mean, our players will say the same thing. Like when you have a crowd, when you have people there to see you, you have to go and thank them. You have to go show your appreciation one way or the other, right?
They've stolen players like that.
Yeah.
Seb Harris used to play for the Michigan Bucks.
We've stolen players like that too.
Then they had one. They didn't have a friendly. They had one game. He saw the fans and he was like, "I'm playing for Detroit City." Yeah. Elliot Bentley used to play for Midland Odessa. He actually hit the game-winning penalty kick against Detroit City FC to send Midland Odessa to the finals. And the next year, he came back to play for Detroit City FC.
That's pretty crazy.
And he's like, I saw the fans; they were jeering at me and everything. But like that was 7,000, 8,000 fans yelling at me.
It's an environment that speaks for itself.
Yeah, I can't imagine having that behind my back, so I'm good to play here. And I'm like, like I've played club soccer. We went somewhere, my school, Wayne State, only had like maybe like 20, 30 fans at a game. We went to go play against a local Christian college. They had a homecoming. They had 400 people to watch the game.
That feels like a lot.
Yeah, considering you having like, maybe your girlfriend and your mom watching, actually having students watching and cheering against you, it was intimidating. So I'm like, I can't imagine. Actually, like I might want to go to this school. I didn't. Like, I might want to go to the school just so I can have these people behind me. Like, it was something like that. Where if I can meet these people behind me, I imagine how much better I'll be playing because these people got really charged up in front of their fans. So over 400 people for them, I can't imagine 8,000 people. You score a goal, the stadium just erupts.
Yeah.
Like, it's if you're a soccer fan, it'll be a little aggravating to watch because when they score, you can't see the field sometimes. If you're on the supporting section, they stand the entire game. So if you're not prepared to stand, go to the fan side. But like if you're like I like soccer a bit, but I'm not like a soccer like mind.
Not your place.
Keyworth is an amazing place because people drink, smoke, there's chants.
Oh, all right.
Like there's beignets, there's like a whole bunch of food trucks and everything back there.
Drinking, so like, people are smoking, people are eating beignets.
So like if you like soccer, but it's not like your thing where you're like, oh my God, I am a soccer mind, I need to handle it. Then you'll love it. If you are a soccer mind like that, then like you'll like it a lot. But like when certain things happen, you'll get a little annoyed. But like it's easy to push through.
Give me a quick tip for visiting fans.
Do not engage the fans.
All right.
That's literally rule of one for fans, owners, players. Just before the game, if you know people that you're friendly with, say hi, whatever. After the game, during the game, do not engage the fans because it will not end well for you.
It's so funny because, I mean, constantly, finish up with this, that like all week, ever since Minneapolis beat Med City, it's been people who are like, oh, this is the matchup I've been waiting for 3 years. Like ever since Minneapolis City joined this league, this is what I want to see. Like I'm really excited to meet these guys. We're getting tweets, we're getting all this stuff, right? And then it's like you're saying as soon as the game starts, though, it's like
you are not their friends.
Yep.
Once the game starts,
it's prison time.
Once the game starts, it's like they're on the field, except they're doing the haka dance with war paint. Do like that. You're not friends till the game is over. When the game's over, whether you win or lose, hey, we're cool. We're fine. Before the game, it depends how close before the game starts. But during the game, your brother could be like a Detroit City person, and that person is not talking. Then it's not your brother. Not until the game is over. And like they are really intense, and that's part of the reason why Keyworth is such a great atmosphere. Is because they're very intense, and like. You kind of it helps.
It's part of the. I mean, this is part of why it's a legendary environment, right? Is because it's the. I guess it's kind of one of the pinnacles of lower league soccer atmospheres, right? For you to be a non-paid player that is able to walk into a stadium like that and have 7,000, 8,000 people cheering for you. Everyone's going nuts. You got the smoke. It's a professional soccer, like, rabid fan environment on that level, right? You know what it's like to play in front of screaming fans when
someone for the Free Press wrote an article about it. The Detroit Free Press, local paper. One of the players thinking Seb Harris was like an air traffic. No, not him. But one of the players was like an air traffic conductor where like he walked around with the cones signaling planes, and it's like a hard job. He's tired. It's whatever.
Yeah.
When he comes to play for City, and like 7,000 people are like, "Oh my God, watch this guy. That's our guy. We love him. Score a goal, come jump with the fans." Like that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh wow, like
it's
this
energizing."
I had a rough day here, whatever, and like these people look at me like they still look at me as a regular person, but it's also like their kids are like, watch him do what he does, copy off him. You know what? It makes you feel like the people who come back to play are like or players come back to play are like really like we really embrace the fans, make us feel like we really are part of the club.
I think all the best clubs are like that. I think all the best like lower league clubs they create that kind of environment. Hopefully Minneapolis City is one of them. But Fletcher, man, it's always a pleasure having you on. John obviously couldn't be with us. He is in a car right now, hopefully driving through Kalamazoo or some such town on his way to Detroit with the rest of the team. Thank you for taking the time under this really short notice. Make sure to look John up. He'll be trying to find you this weekend.
I'm gonna everyone from their club. I'm gonna make sure to like say hi and give a hug to.
All right,
I've made that my goal. So
the match is gonna be 7:30 Eastern. That means 6:30 Central Friday night. You can catch it on Fletcher's favorite channel, My Cujo. It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be the coolest environment you'll ever see Minneapolis City play in. If you're a Minneapolis City fan, Detroit City fans have been waiting for this matchup for a few years. It's gonna be really cool, no matter the result.
That is all for tonight. Again, big thank you to Fletcher for dropping in, and thank you, as always, to our sponsor, Summit Brewing. It is summertime, folks, if you haven't noticed. So beat the heat with a delicious summer ale from Summit. Perfect for slamming after mowing that lawn on a hot-ass afternoon or slamming in preparation for a hot-ass playoff match. Get to your local watering hole and get some Summit on tap, or mosey on down to your local liquor store and pick up a 12er. Today, you will be better off for doing so. Summit, a more meaningful brew since 1986. If giving back to the community means a lot to you, maybe it's time to give to the club that loves to give back. Minneapolis City is a 501c3 that provides a safe, reliable, and fun environment for young people to play the beautiful game. Look for us in the remainder of the summer, out playing with kids in parks and community centers around the city, and consider a tax-deductible donation to a truly city-focused organization. Hey, there's still 2 home matches on the slate in 2019, and you can take advantage if you buy a membership. For only $40, you can support the club and get some cool stuff in return. You get a season pass to every City home game. You get an exclusive membership scarf, 2 flex tickets to share your love of Minneapolis City with your friends, and a membership card that gets you 10% off at the club shop and deals on Summit at the official game day bar, Palmer's. Plus, you get a vote on important club matters, including selecting the membership board and choosing the scarf and kit designs. Visit mplscitysc.com and make it happen. Send us mail. It's easy to do. Hit us up on Twitter at The People's Pitch or through email, mcscpodcast@gmail.com. All questions, comments, and concerns are welcome. And finally, as always, you can hit up the club at mplscitysc. That is all for this week. I am John. That was Nate, and that was Fletcher. We are off to Detroit to make some magic happen, folks. Join us there, watch the stream, or head to a TBD watch party that I'm sure is going to happen on Friday night. And you got hoofed.
Poster burning maple weeds, cradle major keys. Thinking back, I've been major since the minor league. So supreme, too much sauce off my olive NMDs. I could staple steez, bend the goat so I get the cheese. Never fall, rake them leaves and make sure every moment gets seized and everything I see.